what does it take? Like, what's the process to the layman to become a GM? Like, how would you quickly describe the points, the FIDE ranking, playing in FIDE rated tournaments? Just how would you say this? If you're going to become a GM, this is how you do it.
Well, the technical way of doing it is you have to get 3 norms, which means you play in 3 separate events. And in each individual event, you have to perform at an elite grandmaster level. And so you play against other grandmasters and internationally ranked players. And depending on their ranking, there's a formula that dictates you have to get X number of points. So let's put it in terms that everybody might understand. Let's say I had to try to become an all-star basketball player. And you said, all right, you're going to play 9 games of one-on-one ball against LeBron James, James Harden, Steph Curry, you name it, the Greek Freak, just all the true gangsters of the game. And that's the only way you're going to get into the All-Star game. There's not going to be any fan voting going on. There's not going to be the coaches decide, oh, yeah, you go in and you don't. There's no popularity contest. You've got to play these 9 killers one-on-one. Just throw in Westbrook, just all the elite players in basketball.
Make the team
Here's 9 of them. And now, what score do you think this person should get in order to become an all-star? Well, if you play 9 of these players one-on-one, if you win 5 times out of 9, then you clearly belong in the group. If you win 4 out of 9, you clearly belong. 3 out of 9, you're already like, this guy's pretty good. So there's a formula in chess that's very similar, depending on the level of opposition you play against. Now, if you were facing off a tier down of opposition, wasn't the names I just mentioned, then you might have to get 7 out of 9. For them to say, well, you got to dominate this group. If it's just your average NBA players, you got to dominate those guys 7 out of 9, maybe even 8 out of 9. And that's the process we have to go through.
When I hear about this and your comparisons to the NBA, and what I hear is pressure and competition, and you just can't imagine in a game like what you're playing, the amount. I just can't imagine the intensity. The only thing I can think about it reminds you of like boxing, right? You know, when I always say that boxing, out of all the sports that you watch, is the most difficult in my opinion. You're receiving physical pain, and you've got all these people watching you, the lights flashing, and you're just in this ring. You're getting fatigue over time, and you don't want to fail, right? And the odds are stacked against you in some senses, right? And I feel like in your journey, that was the case in some arenas where you were kind of the underdog, if you agree, right? What's your state of mind when you're sitting on that board? Do you see it as a battle? Do you see it as, oh, this is what I do for fun, I'm just going to show my skills? Are you like, how do you manage all that stress? That sounds like stress to me, basically.
It is stress. Yeah. It is absolutely stress. It is absolutely pressure. And it's funny because the players who become elite, they eat stress for breakfast.
For sure.
I aspire to eat stress for breakfast.
Absolutely. You embrace stress. You want stress. If there's no stress, there's no reason to play the game, period. Man, I don't want to play a game where I just know I'm going to beat you. That's not interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to stack the odds against myself. You and I play jacks and you're a beginner at the game. You're a novice. I'm going to say, okay, here's what I got to do. I got to take almost all my pieces off the board. And now let's play. Because I need a challenge. I'm going to say, I got to make it interesting because you're just starting out. Now, if you're at Martin's level, I might just take a couple of pieces.
Yeah.
Get him, Maurice.
Long as that's the queen, I'm all right. Yeah.
Maybe I'll take a few more off. I learn how bad he is. That said, you know, I'm glad you brought up boxing because I come from a warrior family. My oldest brother, Devon, is a 3-time world champion kickboxer.
Crazy.
My baby sister, Alicia, is a 6-time world champion boxer. In fact, she's in China right now.
Whoa.
Head of the UFC in the city she's in.
That's crazy.
I think she's in Shanghai teaching boxing at a club there because she's WBC champ. So we are all about the warrior spirit, the one-on-one, the intellectual battle, keeping cool under pressure, embracing pressure. And it is true. When you're playing a chess game, you know, you talk about boxing being the hardest sport. the mistake you could make in boxing. Let's say you make a big mistake. The mistake, you just expose your face, you get hit, you get knocked down. Knockout punch. But if you make a smaller mistake, you might just get knocked down, you get back up. You might get hurt, a wicked punch, but you can shake it off. At the elite level, one mistake loses the game. One. We're not talking about a situation like basketball where you might turn the ball over 15 times during the game. You can't do that in chess. I will crush you. You make that number of mistakes. I just need one mistake from you that's serious, and I'm going to put you at the edge of a precipice the entire time. Now, I might make a mistake in that conversion, but you don't expect it. Grandmasters will hunt you down like you're the dog that the fox are coming after. So you've got to be careful there. So the point, or maybe it's a flip, the fox that the dogs are going after. The flip is pressure is for us why we play. It's why we play. We love that feeling.
You thrive on it.
The key to remember, though, is this. You cannot perform better under pressure than you do under normal circumstances. Now, that's counterintuitive. Most people disagree. People will say, well, there are people who rise to the occasion, like Lionel Messi. Okay, you got a big situation. He's going to deliver right at that moment. You take a guy like LeBron James, the bigger the occasion, the more likely to perform well. But studies have shown that actually the difference between the elite performers and the average amazing professionals is that the elite performers simply don't crack under pressure. Yeah. They do what they do.
Sure.
It's like a normal walk in the park. This is what I do. So everybody's running away from the ball. Oh no, it's a pressure moment. They say, well, it's just a game. It's the same situation. It's like I'm in the gym practicing. Just give me the ball. I'm going to take the shot like I've done 1,000 times before. And that's the secret. You cannot be better than yourself. Just be yourself.